wonderful world of YouTube. It's been a couple weeks since the last broadcast. I've been trying to, no money, lack of money. So, doing a little odds and ends and things here and there, but nothing much to be proud of. My last attempt at fixing the dash was a miserable failure. The Flex Seal did work. However, it created large, I want to say globs, and it just didn't look very, very neat. So I'm rethinking my strategy, and I'm going to use something a little different. Now, I am still going to use the bed liner, but I'm going to use the textured. Now, last time you saw it, it looked a little different, but here is the dash. I don't know how good you're going to be able to see it, but obviously that Flex spray did fill in this crack the way I wanted it to, but it didn't fill in all of this like I had planned. So that's where the Bondo is going to come in. And it's going to look really good. Right now it looks real rough, and obviously that stick-on bed liner is peeling, so that probably wasn't the best idea. And this side, it did fill up a bunch of the holes, but I'm going to level all that out with some good old-fashioned glazing putty and Bondo. It looks a little rough if you see like here and here and here, but those areas are all nice and flat. And I am going to, when I put on the bed lining, I am going to use a spray roller, so it'll give it a nice textured look instead of having the non-textured look. And I think it'll look just a lot cleaner. So let me go and get some of that Bondo, and we'll get to work. Alright, these are just a couple of things that I purchased. Of course, I didn't go with body Bondo. I went with the more fiberglass because it's got the nice long threads, and it'll fix those up real nice. And I bought a sandpapering block, and I'm gonna try this Raptor bed lining, and it comes with everything you need to be able to roll on some bed liner. So I'm just going to put that over here for now. Yes, my shed is a mess. No, you don't have to say your shed is a mess. I know. Work in progress, Only one person can't do everything. So I had to rebuild a carbon here 2 weeks ago, and there is the one I took the parts from. It's a Rochester Quadrajet. this carb was supposed to go into the truck, but I needed the carb for an 83, so I kind of cannibalized this one to let the other guy have it. Still a good carb, just needs, you know, if I buy another rebuild kit, it'll probably come with the pieces I need. But until that time comes, it's not happening. It's not gonna happen. Put that there. Find my shop towels, if I can. Doesn't appear I can find my shop towels, so oh well. I'm just gonna go ahead. These Bondo cans. These Bondo cans are just like any other, you know, any other paint can. You just gotta get it out of there. And find a nice flathead screwdriver. Yeah. For all the guys watching, make sure you don't, you know, let your wife in your shop, because your screwdrivers and everything will come up missing, and they'll be in like the bottom kitchen cabinet. I used to have a really nice mixing plate, but I don't have it anymore, so I'm going to have to improvise with something. Let's find something to use as a, not just a mixing plate, more like a spreading plate, but I need a nice flat surface that I can hold and put the putty on. And this instructions for my Chicago welder, will do very nicely. Okay. All right. Whew, this stuff is stinky. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this filler inside the can it came in, or the top that the Bondo gave me. You see how thick it is, and obviously this stuff doesn't really do anything until it hardens. So, but you see how nice and thick that is. So that should do what I needed to do. Put the cap on. I don't want to get that crap all over me. Alright, cap back on. Got some on me. I knew it was going to happen. No big deal. Nice shop rag. Alright, you got to knead this hardener real good. If you don't need the hardener, or like mush it, it's going to not do the intended purpose of what it's supposed to. So it's really important that you knead it before you put it on. All right, just to get me going, I'm just going to use about that much. Not much is going to make this stuff harden. So. And a lot of you might be saying, well, what about the prep work? I already did the prep work on this. This is nice and clean. The only spot that's obviously going to be maybe a problem is the part that's peeling. But I'm not even worried about that little part. That's a little part. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Let's start mixing make sure the hardener gets in there real good. And the problem, if you've ever worked with a Bondo or any type of filler putty, the problem that you run into, sometimes it'll dry up on you before you're ready to be done with it. So, an old mechanic, an old friend of mine said, don't add that much hardener. I mean, as long as you get the hardener mixed up with it, it will harden. And then whatever you're putting over, the application that you're using it for, you're going to be putting paint and stuff over it. So there's really, you can see the mixture of just that little bit of hardener that I put in there is actually working out pretty well. And obviously you see the fibers from the actual fiberglass itself in this putty. So this is probably going to turn out fairly well. It's already got a nice brown color to it. I think I put a little too much on this little piece of cardboard here, but I think we'll be alright. Let's see what I can do. Move over here. Now, this stuff, because it's really sticky, so chances are it's just going to stick right to it, but I don't want to take the chance. So I'm going to flatten it out to make it easier to deal with. And that's as easy as it comes right there. Just flatten it out. Should be wearing gloves, that way you don't get contaminated with the oils, but there's going to be a lot more crap that goes on this dashboard before I have to worry about any of that. Alright. This stuff is gross. I'm just kind of glob it on there. And that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. Nice and globby. Now, you'll see what I'm doing with the spreader is I'm just kind of rolling this big glob around. And what that's going to do, it's actually going to fill in that high spot and the low spot that is here. Now, yes, there is going to be a speaker in this location, but I am going to re-drill the speaker holes for it because this was so badly damaged. I'll just put a little bit of it over here. That, since it was so badly damaged, I'm not going to worry about, nitpicky and getting all this. The great thing about this filler is sandable. Now you see right here the hole that I'm trying to fill in reared its ugly head. That's why you go in a cross pattern. And, yeah, it's going to be goopy, it's going to stick, and it's going to get everywhere. But sooner or later, it'll harden, and you won't have to worry about it. Now, I'm going to leave it kind of thick, because that way, I'll be able to sand it down. If I leave it too thin, I'll be negating the work that I'm doing. I don't want to negate any of the work that I'm doing. All I'm trying to do is make a flat panel, flat area where the speaker is, or where the speaker is going to be. And after the whole dash is done, I'm going to re-drill those holes from the underneath side of the dash. The reason I'm doing it from the underneath side, I can see the holes. This is the original dash that came with the truck, and surprisingly enough, it is in great condition compared to some of the other 84s I've seen. So, yes, this is not going to be a preferred method, and neither was the other method that I was doing, but, I tested out a couple different methods just to see what would work for me. Obviously, if you're going to be doing the work, a different method might be useful to you, and you might want to just use a different method. that's up to you. That's your prerogative. That's has nothing to do with me. I kind of like to save money where I can, and if I can make this repair with a $20 thing of, or $20 can of Bondo and some fiberglass, or rather fiberglass filler Bondo to make the repair, I'm going to do that instead of spending $300 and something on a brand new one. Now, I'm not down in LMC Truck at all. They sell great products. In fact, I already have my door panels from them. But I'm not going to purchase a brand new interior dash when this one is in very good shape. It only had a couple of bigger problems with it. But see, where that hole was, I'm just globbing it on. I am going to sand it when it's dry. So glob it on there. Let it kind of settle. This is already starting to harden on me, which is scaring me a bit. Like this big old glob just kind of fell off. The flex seal that I used surprisingly filled in a lot of the cracks. Filled in the cracks, and it gave me a nice base to work with. Obviously, I mean, you're watching me do this, and you guys didn't see the original dash, but it was, it was terrible. I mean, now this stuff is getting really hard to work with, obviously, because it's hardened. So I work with what I got. Take this stuff, put it back on that. I'll just glaze what I can around here. Here is one crack that I didn't get, so I'm not worried about it being perfect as of right now, because you're gonna come, you have to come back. I mean, that's the thing about doing stuff like this. Everyone says, oh, it's too much work. Well, you have to do the work. If you want the piece, you should do the work for it. If you want something to look good, take your time and do it. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I was, chucking ideas at myself to see what would work for me. Obviously, this Bondo thing, it might not work. I'm not worried about it. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. Everything is, I can sand it back down and do it again. Let me see if I can get any more out of this top container here. This is very long thread stuff, so it's very, very difficult to work with inside of, especially this small container. Let's see here. Yep, I got some though.